Joining us on debate number 2 tonight, Dr Sambit Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP. He's with us from Delhi. Mr Venkatesh, CA and Policy Analyst, with us from Chennai. Dr Sunil Kumar Singh, Leader of the JDU, with us from Patna. Kumar Ketkar, Senior Journalist, live with us from our Mumbai studios. And Aseef Bambla, Political Commentator and President Bambla Foundation, live with us from Mumbai. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you all very much for joining us this evening. 2 years of the Modi government. Now, we've already had a detailed discussion on economy and the state of affairs in the country with respect to development and the development plank that the Modi government was really voted in on. So I'm going to directly steer this discussion, Sambit Patra, into foreign policy, which is what we just touched upon as we went into the break. The allegation from many quarters, the Congress, the CPIM, the JDU, is that it's been a foreign visit policy of the Prime Minister, but no real tangible ground has been gained in terms of the foreign policy itself. There have been visits which have amounted to nothing. So what would you say to that there have been too many visits but nothing really gained? First response on that, Sambit Patra.
In fact, first let me begin by congratulating all my co-panelists and you as well for the Indian government having completed its 2 years this term, because after all, it may be a Modi government, it may be a BJP government, but it is an Indian government. So in democratic right of my opponents is to ask me questions. But please, I would request, as far as the foreign policy is concerned, put your hand on your heart and say that it is just a foreign visit policy. Are we not doing good in foreign policy? Today, in fact, leave aside everything else. Today, Mr. Modi has become
Sambit Patra, you're going to have to do better than that. Well. You're going to have to do better than that, because if I ask Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh to put his hand on his heart and say it, let's see what he says. Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, put your hand on your heart. What do you say about Modi's foreign policy?
No, Sunil Kumar, Mr. Sunil Kumar.
Let him. You said if anyone can put their hand on their heart and speak.
Let's see what he says. How to contain Jungle Raj.
Give me a minute.
Sunil Kumar be thinking about Pakistan, China and Sri Lanka when he has Bihar to look after? They are unable to look after Bihar. Bihar mein bahar hai, roz hatyachar hai. And here is Sunil Kumar going to Pakistan.
Okay, Dr. Sambit Patra, let's see what he says.
Let me speak now. Look, it's a common knowledge that the Modi government has been a total failure on the all foreign policy aspect. Let's talk about neighbors first, because foreign policy includes neighbors first. With the Indo-Pakistan policy, what we have done, with all that Nawaz Sharif coming, the sari gifting and everything, the Pathankot episode, the Pakistani counterpart came, had an investigation here, but when we tried our investigation sleuths to go to Pakistan, it was not allowed. And Indo-Pak policy of India under the Modi government, where it is, you know. Let's talk about our age-long friend. Even in Nepal was our friend from the many years together. And what has happened there? In the Madhesi movement, when India did not allow the car to come, and they took it as a anti-India tirade. The relation is in the lowest shape, and we could not stop Nepal to move to China. Now let's talk about China. In the China also, even that when we tried to put Masood Azhar into the terrorist group, China objected. And the UN Security Council permanent membership of India, even the French country, the friend of India country, you move around to n number of countries. But what
very specific questions coming through. Thank you for those questions. Now, Sambit Patra, so clear questions, and we'll get to the US and the nuclear suppliers group and those larger issues later. But let's talk about our immediate neighbors. What he's saying is that all the largesse and these olive branches and big overtures from the Prime Minister towards Pakistan boomerang completely. Just a week after that sudden Lahore stopover, we had what happened in Pathankot. That was, miss number one. He's talked about the fact that our relations with Nepal are probably at the lowest ever in the history of the two countries. And the third issue brought up is, of course, China, how we've not been able to negotiate China. China has once again, despite Modi's visit to China, China has once again attempted to, thwart India's request for JEM chief Masood Azhar to be regarded as an international terrorist. They've blocked India's entry into the NSG. All these issues with regards to Pakistan, Nepal and China first. Sambit Patra.
Let me start from China. For the first time,
Okay.
you all would be happy to learn that despite the fact that the previous governments could not make any inroads in making infrastructure in the Chinese border, particularly in the area of Arunachal Pradesh, because China was always opposing to it, this government very successfully has pumped in large infrastructure changes along the border of China, and this is a major success of the government. Secondly, please go by the data, not by rhetorics, and the data itself speaks volumes. The Chinese incursions and the Chinese adamancy along the border has considerably decreased. In fact, if you would remember the first initial days of Modi government, the Chinese tried to show their might, as they used to do during the UPA period. But this government did not budge. This government rather moved ahead and forced the Chinese to retract the steps back. These are all on record. Mr. Sunil, please go and get prepared before saying that the Chinese diplomacy of Modi government has failed. As far as...
you are saying that India and China are friends today.
Mr. Sunil, wait. Mr. Sunil, I was not interjecting. Mr. Sunil, as far as China is concerned, let me also, in fact, submit over here the Chabahar Treaty, which was signed only day before yesterday. Chabahar Treaty is a historic treaty. It is in response to China and Pakistan. Even the greatest diplomats have agreed to the fact that this was one of the biggest achievements of the Indian government.
We'll get Kumar Ketkar in on this as well. And that's a valid point. The fact is that India in Chabahar is essentially a counter to China at Gwadar. And that is a major achievement.
Look, that Chabahar
Dr.
is a
Sunil
separate
Kumar
issue,
Singh,
but
that's for you,
our
and then we'll go to Kumar
relations
Ketkar on
with
it.
Our neighbors. Yeah. The Chabahar is a thing when you bypass China. That's a separate issue. But our relation, the foreign policy, the first and foremost thing should be that our relation with neighbors should improve. And with China, Dr. Sambit is saying it has improved. I don't know from where he is talking about. China has even stopped that Mr. Masood Azhar. Our efforts to pronounce Masood Azhar as a terrorist, it was thwarted by China. None other than China. How does he claim that we are friends anyway, relationship? And even in Pakistan.
MRM Venkatesh, do you want to answer that?
Nepal,
so the two specific things with respect to China, China has blocked India's attempt to get Masood Azhar regarded or named as an international terrorist, and also very importantly blocking India's entry into the nuclear suppliers group, trying to get Pakistan to get a backdoor entry. How is this in any way betterment of relations with China? If anything, it's worse.
See, let us understand the relationship with China or Pakistan. We should not link it in isolation. We have to look at the U-turn that the entire UNDA dispensation is taking from 60 years of what was called as the non-aligned way of looking at international relationship. This non-aligned way of looking at international relationship was both a non-starter and an incompetent one. It did not take us anywhere forward. It made us a laughing stock and at best gained us enemies across continents.
Okay, so has that been corrected? Have those mistakes been corrected? Have they been rectified?
Yes, that's what let me come to that. Pakistan and China will not be corrected by a visit or two, but the attempt to correct them has been taken. And that is visible in certain fronts and it is not visible in certain fronts. For instance, Azhar Mahmood's issue is definitely a setback. It's obvious for everybody to see. But nobody expected China to come about and dump their 60-year friend and say that Pakistan should also declare Azhar Mahmood and hand over Azhar Mahmood to India. This was height of stupidity.
Okay, so then what ground has this government gained then?
Pakistan.
What ground have they gained vis-a-vis China?
Please understand.
You're saying it was expected. You can't expect China to dump Pakistan. You can't expect a turnaround. So then what ground has been gained?
Please understand. These grounds have to be covered over a period of time. You have a historic baggage of correction, and that U-turn cannot be done just because new party is in power. The whole policy or the pits has to be first cleared, and the ground has to be leveled before you start building a superstructure. Unfortunately, the 60 years of baggage nobody is talking about. Did you expect in any UPA dispensation that China would have said the same thing to Azhar Mahmood? The answer is no, and that is what is continuing in terms of what is happening in NDA. So let us have our benchmarks.
Yeah, but when you say continuing, then you're also conceding that there hasn't been much change or much ground gained. So, okay, let me
I
get Kumar
agree.
Ketkar in on this. We're
Foreign-
talking about three
no,
specific
foreign-
issues,
foreign
Kumar
policy-
Ketkar.
foreign
We are
policies
talking
don't take
about
overnight.
India's relationship with
Foreign
Nepal, which
policies
may have
don't
been
take a
at the
U-turn
lowest
overnight.
ever. We're talking about not having gained much ground with China. And we're, of course, talking about the boomerang effect that's happened with a lot of overtures towards Pakistan. But I ask you, when the question is asked of the Modi establishment that the Prime Minister has visited 40 countries in his first 2 years, wouldn't something like a visit to Iran, the first in 15 years, a visit to UAE, the first by an Indian Prime Minister in 34 years, isn't that actually setting the stage or paving the way for some serious ground to be gained in the years to come? Now, these areas, the Gulf, very, very important strategically in terms of energy. Iran is going to be absolutely crucial, and this is ground gained in terms of foreign policy for the Modi establishment.
Well,
Kumar Ketkar.
Well, actually, first you must correct your facts, because Dr. Manmohan Singh had visited Iran, and Narendra Modi is the 7th Prime Minister in the country to visit Iran. So there is nothing great about visiting Iran. He is not the first Prime Minister to visit Iran. And moreover, the deals that those were signed or being prepared for, where groundwork for that was done by Dr. Manmohan Singh's foreign policy, and actually even Mr. Vajpayee. I am quite shocked and surprised by Mr. Venkatesh's statement that non-alignment policy was a stupid, because Vajpayee is on record saying that India has not changed its foreign policy created by Pandit Nehru's framework, and non-alignment will continue. That was when NDA government was in power, and even before that, when Janata Party was in power and Vajpayee was the foreign minister, they have always defended non-alignment. So either the Modi government is taking a U-turn from Vajpayee government, forget the UPA, they are taking a U-turn from the Vajpayee government, because Vajpayee government never said that. Secondly, as I said, Iran policy is anything new. Dr. Manmohan Singh visited, and even Vajpayee visited, so it is continuation. The point is, China was to give us $20 billion. That was promised in Ahmedabad when Modi and President of China met, and nothing of that has happened. In fact, only despite Make in India, what is happening is the Vallabhbhai Patel statue is being made in China, not in India, though there are so many artists and sculptors in India. So forget that. That is not the issue. The issue is the only friendship that China is perhaps showing is building the statue of Vallabhbhai Patel in Shanghai. So that may be there, but otherwise in actual concrete terms, nothing has come from China. And in fact, China is threatening, even in South China Sea, the Indian role. So where is the question of having better relationship with China? I have not understood. And moreover, exactly 2 years ago, on this very day, at this very time, the SAARC countries were supposed to build a completely new South Asia. And everybody had come and Nawaz Sharif was embracing Narendra Modi. But what we have seen, nothing has changed on ground. And Nawaz Sharif...
All right. Sambit Patra, you want to respond to that in terms of the South Asian region, in terms of our immediate neighbors? Foreign policy has failed completely.
You're refusing to see. No, you're refusing to see because
the neighborhood foreign policy,
the neighbor,
you just read your
Mr.
Kumar, let me give you a few examples.
You just read your own papers and own statements exactly 2 years ago on the same day or tomorrow. And then you will find how much has changed and how much has not changed.
Mr. Kumar Ketkar, can I rebut you?
Sambit Patra, please.
As far as Mr. Kumar, be calm. Let's listen to us as well. Number one, as far as the China policy is concerned, look, in diplomacy, it is an evolving policy. But what is the bigger question today is India in a powerful position vis-a-vis China or not? Yes, economically, we are in a powerful position. Militarily also today, I gave you the data. I mean, according to the released government data, the muscle flexing of China along the border has decreased compared to what it was during Mr. Manmohan's regime. Thirdly, as I told, and very importantly, because of the fear of China, the Indian... Sir, will you please listen to others as well? Most importantly, Tina, mark my words, because of the fear of China, because of interference of China, the Indian government could not make inroads along the border of India and China in Arunachal Pradesh. Thanks to Mr. Modi's visionary intervention, that today we are having infrastructure there, we are having railroads and national highways there, so that in a condition of adverse features, the government is at least prepared. Secondly, let's come to a larger picture. Man, look,
and China,
the first time under the... Just a second, sir.
Yeah.
For the first time under the leadership of Mr. Modi, we have seen 41 African nations conglomerating in India to have the African summit. This was never thought of previously. Is it not?
Okay,
is
one
this
second.
not
No,
a
before
great
we go to that,
achievement?
we're just staying with China and Pakistan for the moment. Sambit Patra. No, one second. Sunil Kumar Singh wants to come in on one of these points. Yes, go ahead.
Can I come in? Can I come in?
One second. Aseef Bambla, give me a minute. I thank you for your patience. Give me a minute. Sunil Kumar Singh wants to respond to a point and then I'm coming to you.
Ma'am, when you call us, you make sure that we are given.
Look, now Dr. Sambit is saying that relationship with China has improved. Number one, it's totally false. Let's not debate over that matter. And second thing, that Dr. Sambit is saying that we have emerged stronger vis-a-vis China. I mean, I don't want to comment over that. And let's accept it.
Why? Don't you feel that India is stronger? You have doubts about that? You have doubts about the military power of India?
No. Then why don't you want to comment on it? Dr. Sambit, you are saying Mr. Modi has done something which has made India stronger. Dr. Sambit, don't use such.
Not something. That is diplomacy. It is not called as something. It is called as diplomacy.
But what he's asking for is tangible. What he's asking about is tangible, conclusive proof that there has been some progressive forward movement with China. Aseef Bambla, coming to you now. These 3 points that have come up, one of our relationship with Nepal, one of whether or not the Modi establishment has been able to gain any ground with China, and the most crucial one, the overtures to Pakistan, the inviting of Nawaz Sharif to India for the swearing in, the sudden Lahore stopover. Did that boomerang completely?
Can I think we have talked enough about the external affairs regime, but I today firstly will congratulate Sambit for completing 2 years in the office. I will not start with the black money or the Achhe Din or the 15 lakhs deposited in the accounts, because I think the country is overheard and overboard with it. Let me highlight, before coming to the external affairs, 2 major points, and that is on the price rise and the unemployment. Are we aware about the hike in the price rise? 48% of the people, there is one tagline, do saal bura haal. This is what the country is facing, and we are still talking just simply about the big ticket price talks and the other issues. Let me highlight that the basic problems the common man is faced, the tur dal prices, the essential commodities, be it the fish, the eggs, the sugar prices, the hike in that, in spite of the fall in the crude oil, and India being an agrarian economy.
Are you reading a prepared speech?
I think during the time of the No. In spite.
No, let him have his say, Sambit Patra. Let him have his say. Let him make his point. Then you can respond. Aseef Bambla, the fact is that we did the Newshour at 10 entirely on economy and inflation and the state of affairs. The Newshour at 9 was entirely on that. But since you've raised this point, go ahead and conclude what you're trying to say. We'll get Sambit Patra to respond on that.
Let me know. I want to complete, man. You've not given me a chance to complete, please. I rest my case. I need to complete my point on price rise and unemployment both. India is an agrarian economy, and during the UPA regime, the growth rate of the agrarian economy was at 4.4%, which now currently, amazingly and surprisingly, is at 1.1%. You're talking about jobs opportunities that the Prime Minister promised. No. Let me complete. The jobs opportunities that the Prime Minister promised. Today, in this year, there is, in the year 2015, it's just jobs of 1,34,000 people only that have been employed in the country. Besides that,
all right, Aseef Bambla, I'm going to put those questions to Sambit Patra now. No, give me a minute.
Complete. Ma'am, no, I have not completed.
Mr.
Make in India remains.
The debate would be completed if you keep on speaking. Let me answer also point by point.
No progress has been made. No progress has been made on the smart cities.
See,
They
sir, you
claim
can read the
100
other part of it.
Now, Aseef Bambla, please understand. Please listen to me for a second. Please understand that we have done the debate on the economy aspect for an hour on the Newshour at 9. So I thank you for making these points. I'm going to very quickly ask Sambit Patra to respond to these, and then we will come back to the points that we are to discuss here on the Newshour at 10. Sambit Patra, the allegation coming forth. Okay, the allegation coming forth is that despite whatever is being claimed in terms of the growth rate of the GDP, the hard reality on the ground is there are farmer suicides, the agrarian economy is struggling.
But at the same time,
Yeah. No, we understand this is an important issue. Let Sambit Patra respond to this.
Let me...
Yes, Dr. Patra, go
Only
ahead.
if Mr. Bambla is quiet, can I respond that? Yes. Number one, Mr. Bamla's two questions are pertinent. I'll take them. One is economy and the other is the employment. Let me first answer the employment one, because the Congress also has been making a hue and cry about it. Look, as far as employment is concerned, it is not just the organized sector that we are talking about. Let's talk about the unorganized sector as well. It's not that we said that only the government sector would be giving the jobs to 125 crore people. So what Mr. Modi has done, we had promised 2 crore jobs per year. We have fulfilled that. In these 2 years, we have almost given more than 4 crore jobs. How? Through the Mudra scheme. Through the Mudra scheme, we have provided loans to the entrepreneurs, the lower and the middle class entrepreneurs, so that they can become job creators rather than job seekers. And if a doctor opens a small clinic, if someone starts a small business, naturally he or she is going to employ 1 or 2 people as a helper, giving further jobs. The data is 3.37 crore people have sought the Mudra loan facility. So naturally, almost 4 crore people through Mudra have been empowered and they have been employed. Further employing people under them as well. So there are huge numbers which would be reflective if you multiply almost 3.37 into 1 or 2. Would be the promise that we had made. We had kept our promise.
Okay, very quickly, Aseef Bambla, your response on this, what Sambit Patra is saying is that the launch of schemes like Skill India, Mudra, it's essentially aimed at creating jobs over the next several years. The target is more than 40 crore people. It's not something that you're going to see results in overnight. Very quickly, Aseef Bambla, then we need to get to the other topics, please.
Sambit, I understand there were a lot of promises made, but on the ground realities, how much are we seeing? The schemes that were implemented during the UPA regime are all being transformed and changed. All the schemes have been renamed and repackaged, right from Nirmal Bharat to Swachh Bharat, the Planning Commission to Niti Aayog, National Mission, National Commission to Financial Institution of Jan Dhan.
If this is your charge, you cannot be complaining. Now, why are you complaining?
MR Venkatesh.
Can I
see, if you are complaining that the schemes are the same and only the names have been changed, you cannot be complaining. You cannot complain.
And UP has done nothing. And
you cannot complain.
And you are the people who are talking about Congress.
You just say all.
So let me bring to your notice.
No. We are talking about it. We will achieve it. We will achieve it very shortly. And don't worry about it. We will achieve it. But listen, you are factually wrong. I will tell you where you are factually wrong.
By your government, by your Prime Minister.
Why don't you do a marketing? Nobody stops marketing, but you have a duffer on hand. The duffer on hand cannot be marketed. That is the problem you have. So nobody stops you from marketing. I hire the same
guys. You can't call anybody a duffer.
No,
you have no right to call
anybody a duffer. I never said anybody is a duffer.
You are on national TV.
I said you have a duffer on hand.
You please.
So what? I am saying so. So no, you are called much worse than our leaders. So you keep quiet. What do you mean you are called much worse? And why do you say this? Your leaders, your people. I never called you.
Okay, all right, gentlemen. Let's not get personal with this. Let's not get personal with this. Kumar Ketkar, I'm coming to you now. Kumar Ketkar, we need to just take a more macro look now. Gentlemen, allow me. Now, Kumar Ketkar, the fact is there may be supporters, there may be those who are, of course, questioning everything that the Modi establishment does. There may be those who question really how much has been achieved in these 2 years. But I ask you, if you look at it from an electoral point of view, let's look at the performance of the BJP since 2014, from electoral victories in Maharashtra, Haryana, Jharkhand, and now in Assam, a first coalition in Jammu and Kashmir, and now even that small inroad in to Kerala. Would you say that the BJP's pan-Indian popularity has grown, or do you feel the promises made, the development plank, the Achhe Din, somewhere that bubble has burst? Where do you think the BJP stands today as a result of how the Modi government has performed in 2 years?
Well, nobody can dispute the fact that BJP has expanded its base at the popular level and as well as electoral level. Nobody can dispute that. Second point is, but BJP is expanding its base on the basis of promises, and nothing wrong in that also. The question is how far the promises are being fulfilled. For instance, there was a speech before the election, 2014 election, that after Modi comes to power, the dollar-rupee ratio will be, rupee will come to some 50 rupees. Now it is 67. In fact, between Dr. Manmohan Singh's rule and now, the rupee has further declined vis-a-vis dollar. So the question is, if dollar-rupee relationship shows where the economy is. Secondly, Sensex was expected to go up beyond 35,000. It has not crossed even 30,000. I am not saying good or bad. These are all the facts on record. If Sensex was to grow, if dollar was to actually come down vis-a-vis rupee, or rupee was to be stop the decline, why it has not happened? Obviously, because the economists are not actually happy. The economists of the corporate sector are not happy, and therefore many people in the corporate sector are saying that actually things are not improving. Recently we saw the interview of a leading corporate sector and we found that they are not happy. Now everybody in the corporate sector will not publicly say they are not happy with the Modi government simply because they have so much to gain. They have so much to gain or so much to lose. So much to lose by coming directly. Corporate sector is not an opposition party. Corporate sector is not an opposition party. They cannot come out publicly.
Okay, fine. No, valid point. Now, Sambit Patra, what Kumar Ketkar is saying is that you can present all the data that you want in the world. But the bottom line is, if you look at the rupee to the dollar, it is suffering. If you look at the Sensex, it has not gone to or climbed to the heights that were claimed. So, yeah, why don't you answer that?
These are points which should be answered not with rhetorics but with facts. Now, Mr. Ketkar, I'm carrying the whole report card of the government. All papers are in front of me. Let me show you the report card's one page. You know this, I would request the camera person also to zoom in. These are the BRIC countries. You can see where our position was in 2014, March 2014, just before we took the government into our hands. And this is where we are in September 2015. Look, we are
in the position in terms of what, Sambit? BRICS countries' position in terms of what?
Please allow, Tina, I'll answer everything.
No, I'm just asking you to just elaborate on what you're showing so that it, it gets into context.
I'm going to say everything. I got your question. This is the economy, the gross economy of the countries which are in BRICS. There was a time when India was to fly off the BRICS shelf, and under the auspices and the prime ministership of Mr. Modi, India has become stronger, even marched ahead, surged ahead of China. This is what the report card is suggesting. As far as dollar and rupees are concerned, Mr. Ketkar would also agree to the fact that most of the currencies in this world, including yen and all, are not doing good. But still rupees is maintaining its stability because of the structure of Indian economy, which is a strong one under Mr. Modi, and this even the most erudite economists of the world have spoken. Remember, the IMF chairperson said only recently that India is one of the brightest spots as far as the world economy is concerned. Let's not discount what the top economists of the world have been saying.
Okay, and so look, that's the response. Kumar Ketkar, Kumar Ketkar, the response, and I'll also go to Sunil Kumar Singh on this. The response is that there is a global slowdown, and therefore you can't find too much fault with the rupee versus the dollar because there's a global slowdown.
Only one point, despite oil prices crashing from $140 to less than $40 till recently, nothing has happened on the ground. And during this time, when it was beneficial to India, beneficial to India, actually rupee has declined more than what Dr. Manmohan Singh
No, that's really important also, MR Venkatesh and Sambit Patra. The fact is global oil prices have dropped by almost 75%. And yet what we've seen on the ground here is an increase in petrol and diesel prices.
I'll answer that. This is a very important question. Look, the question of the Congress party and some people have been, despite the globally coming down oil prices, why the benefit has not been transferred to the people? Is it not?
It is transferred in Europe. It is transferred in Europe. It is transferred in America.
How this money goes to the people? let me tell you how this, sir, please listen me out. How this money goes to the people's pocket. Let's see. First, the prices, the oil prices over here also decreases. Number two, most of this amount goes for infrastructural changes. How are we building this in rural infrastructure? I mean, rural roads. Today, in fact, the NDA government has made 11,000 kilometers of extra roads. How is it possible? I have this whole data on roads also. Look, I mean, this is the data. This is a report card. 2013,
No, one second. There's a macro issue being discussed here. There's a macro issue being discussed here. Sambit Patra, one second. No, I want to go.
The money that we are saving
I want to go to MR Venkatesh on this. MR Venkatesh, two clear questions. If you look at the rupee versus the dollar, it has struggled over the last 2 years, and the big question of global oil prices crashing, and yet that not being translated into the ground for petrol and diesel consumers in India.
Exactly. But can I ask Sambit a question?
Now there are three issues.
No, one second.
Now three
Aseef
issues.
Bambla, coming to you in a second. Just let's get MR Venkatesh's response on that. Then we'll come to you. One second. I've asked MR Venkatesh a question. Let him answer it. Yeah.
We are facing 3 consecutive years of drought, unprecedented in our living history. So the growth rate has been soft. To that extent, that is also coupled with the fact that the global economy is in a tailspin. Europe, Japan, China, also America are facing huge recession or recessionary type of conditions. So we are not able to export. To that extent, we are not able to support our rupee. It is not that we are not competitive or there is something lacking in our economy, but the fact is that the global markets are evaporating. The third thing which we have to understand, and I am taking on Mr. Ketkar on this. On one hand, he says that the corporates are against this government. On the other hand, there is a jibe. This is a suit boot ki sarkar. Now, I can understand your confusion, but take your confusion to the logical conclusion. Say whether this is a suit boot ki sarkar and whether the corporates are happy with it, or you say the corporates are not happy and then say this government is not doing anything for the corporates. You cannot say that this is a suit boot ki sarkar and also that the corporates are lampooning this government. This, I think, is a confusion the other side has to clear.
Okay, Aseef Bambla, your last comments on this. You can't accuse the government of both. You can't accuse the government of posing up to the corporates and also disappointing the corporates.
I am not taking Congress position. I am not taking Congress position of Shulbut ki sarkar. Corporate sector.
One second, Mr. Ketkar. Let's just allow Aseef Bambla to make his final point, then coming to you. Yes.
Today, and they have made it very clearly known, and they make it known through the markets. They make it known through the markets. They don't have to give interviews to Economic Times to show that they are unhappy with the current regime. They are showing it through the markets, and it is obviously visible. And you are showing only one kind of a record, that what the India is doing, but it is another record in which every single parameter India is failing. Every single parameter. You go to the net.
Name the parameters.
You go to the net.
No, Mr.
sir.
You go to the net and you find
Like what? Yeah, just can so specify these.
Mr. Ketkar, if you want to take you on a
Okay, gentlemen, we have to speak one at a time. One at a time, please. Kumar Ketkar, Sambit Patra has asked you to specify, when you say that on all these various fronts or points the government is failing completely, specify and then we'll get his response.
On manufacturing, on skills in India, where are skills in India? Skills in India were being made when ITI was there. Where is the expansion of ITI? ITI is not expanded and you are still talking of skills in India.
Can I show some data over here?
There is plenty of data.
Mr. Ketkar, today I am not going to I have come prepared with all the data. You asked about manufacturing. Mr. Ketkar, let's go one by one. Mr. Ketkar,
okay, let him respond. Let him respond. You've asked a question, let him respond.
One by one.
Yes,
you spoke about manufacturing. Here I carry the report card, the source being MOSPI, published date 13th October 2015. I would request the camera person to please zoom in over here. This was the manufacturing when we came into government, minus 1.1. This is the manufacturing as the date was on October 13, 2015, 6.9. An increase by more than 7%. And you say manufacturing is declining? How is it possible? This is the data, this is authentic data. Please give me your email address, I will send it to you.
Medium industrial units have closed, locked out. Workers are on strike right in Gujarat. Right in Gujarat, 6 lakh people have lost jobs.
Oh, Mr. Ketkar again travels to Gujarat. That is not fair, Mr. Ketkar. You said manufacturing came down. I showed you the data where manufacturing is up.
Manufacturing is coming down.
Now move to the next parameter.
Sambit Patra, so the
In
bottom
fact,
line,
manufacturing
according
is
to Kumar
coming down.
Ketkar, is
That's why you are
that you could say anything you want, but the reality shows up in the Sensex. The reality shows up in international foreign exchange rates. Okay, I need to start winding this up. I'm going to get a last comment in from Sunil Kumar Singh. Sunil Kumar Singh, you know, when the Prime Minister came out and spoke today, talking about the 2 years at the centre, one of the most important points that he made was we have managed to produce 2 years of a corruption-free government where there has been no big scam coming to the fore, and that is our greatest achievement. Your response to that, and those will be the closing comments. Aseef Bambla,
Yeah, about the
one second.
corruption-free
Sunil Kumar
government,
Singh
I
has
would
been
like to
quiet
give
for a
a few
long time.
things.
I'd like to get his point on this. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
I have not
Yeah.
got some.
Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh.
This is the time we heard from a Pied Piper PM. We came to know that corruption. About corruption, I'll tell you. This NDA government is full of corruption because, you know, number one, what about Vyapam scam in Madhya Pradesh? What about Rajasthan coal scam? What about Malia Gate? What about Lalit Gate? Let him answer over that. Let him answer. They cannot answer.
Lalit Modi was
This
not a
government
financial
in 2
scam.
years also is full
Lalit
of
Modi
corruption.
was not a financial.
Party chickened out from even discussing in the parliament,
definitely
sir.
yes.
Lalit
Definitely
Modi is
yes.
not a corruption
Malia
issue.
Gate, Malia
You
Gate.
ran away from the
Malia
parliament
Gate.
to your party did not.
Yeah, it is totally
Congress was not
corruption.
even there in the
No,
parliament.
he ran.
What are you trying
he
to say
is
now?
a fugitive of India.
Where the
He
whole
charged
country was waiting
he
for him
charged
to
money
present.
to bribery. He did all the financial.
And you allowed Modi to escape from this country.
About
Your
Malia,
people went
Malia
and
took
escorted him out for this
more than
country.
9,000 of crores of money. He went away. What about Vyapam?
gave the
Okay,
money to
What about
Malia?
Vyapam?
Your
The government allowed Vijay Malia to flee. Despite all the promises of, you know, action against black
But
money,
money
even
was
getting
given
black
by
money
your
from abroad
government.
back into the country,
Where
the
is the black
situation
money
is that Vijay Malia was able to flee the country. Last comments, Aseef Bambla, you
I
will
want
wind
to
up this
answer that.
debate. Last comments to you, please.
Ma'am, yeah.
No, as far as the Vijay Malia question is concerned, can I answer?
One second, Sambit. Please let him make his final point. Yeah, Aseef Bambla.
Okay.
There is a small query here. Why is the growth rate in 8 core sectors, which include cement, steel, coal, etc., going down rapidly? It was 6.7 in November. In 2014,
Wrong.
it was 2.4% in December. Let me give you. Please don't intervene, Sambit.
You know,
In December,
Aseef Bambla,
it was
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interject
no, no.
here because
You
we have
asked about
moved
cement,
you
from the
asked about
micro to the
cement.
macro. Yes, no, we've moved from the micro to the macro. I've asked a larger question. I'm going to let Sambit respond on that. Sambit Patra, final question to you. The government came in on promises of attacking black money or bringing back black money, but the reality is that a man like Vijay Malia has been able to flee the country. Last 20 seconds to you,
Let me
Sambit
answer
Patra,
that.
then we
Let-
close this debate.
Yes, as far as black
Vyapam
money is
also,
concerned, who are the sir, please allow me to answer.
On the
ones who are the
sectors of
generators
cement,
of black
steel,
money
coal.
have been asking us question. Remember, for 2.5 years, the Congress party did not, despite the Supreme Court hitting them on the knuckles, did not form the SIT
Sambit, you
against
are
the
not
black
answering
money.
my question.
2.5 days of government
Sambit, you
formation.
have not answered
Jungle
my
Raj,
question.
please. Mr. Jungle Raj and Mr. NPP,
Sambit?
please allow me to complete.
No, please don't call anybody a jungle rat.
No, Sambit, let's not. Sambit, let's not go down that road at all. Sambit, that's not the way. Please answer the question, and then we need to close this debate. Okay? There are not going to be any snide remarks at anyone here.
Yeah. No, okay. I would not call Jungle Raj to anyone. By the way, the generators of black money were asking us questions.
Keep the sanity when you're on national.
Within 2.5 days, this government
debate.
formed the SIT, which the Supreme Court is monitoring. The black money law has been brought by this government, not only nationally. Since Tina, in this debate, we were discussing international issues. Internationally also, Mr. Modi became the first Prime Minister to raise the issue of black money and connect it with terrorism and drug hawala nexus, which was accepted by most of the countries across the world. On a larger pretext, I would say that for the first time, as far as the governance is concerned, black money has got its importance. We are bringing back the black money. We are seeing that black money is not generated in this country. And those who are generators should not tease us every evening.
Okay, so Sambit, so we'll take what you say at face value, because you remember, and I'll remind everyone, this was the promise. This was the promise. As an incentive, the Prime Minister had said 5 to 10% of the black money that is recovered will be given as as a gift to those salaried classes
sector.
who earn fixed income and honestly pay taxes. So everyone like me is hoping that's going to come true in the near future sometime. Thank you all, gentlemen, for joining us on the debate number 2 tonight on the Newshour.